In this video, I'm going to talk about different types of BigQuery tables. There are two types of BigQuery tables, native table and external table. Native table are the table which are created inside BigQuery and managed by BigQuery. And the data is stored in BigQuery columnar capacitor format, and the data resides within BigQuery and is managed by BigQuery. Since it's managed by BigQuery, if you run a query against the native table, it performs faster. And then another type of table is external table. In the external table, the, the table schema is managed inside BigQuery or managed by BigQuery, but the table content is external to BigQuery. The table data content which resides external to BigQuery table. And the table content can be, or the external table content can reside in Google Cloud Storage, Bigtable, or Google Drive. By using the contents are stored externally, and only the schema and the metadata information is managed by BigQuery. And within the external table, there are two types of table. One is called permanent table, another one is temporary table. So it's called like permanent external table. So the permanent external table, the table is inside BigQuery dataset. The table metadata is inside BigQuery. The table metadata is inside BigQuery, and since when we create the permanent external table, so we need to specify the dataset. So the table is going to get created inside one of the BigQuery dataset. Since it's going to get created inside the BigQuery dataset, as like the native table, we can give access control and other information. So the difference between native table and the permanent table is the content of the permanent external table is located outside the BigQuery, and the native table is completely managed by BigQuery. Now, on the external table, there's one more table. It's called like temporary table. So these temporary tables are good for like one-time ad hoc query purposes, or if you run one-time ETL purposes. Let's say you have some data in cloud storage that you want to query the cloud storage to see what kind of uh, uh, table in there. For that purposes, we can use temporary table. So this table is not going to get created within BigQuery datasets. Since it's not going to get created within BigQuery dataset, it is it is one time. We can run ad hoc query against the content of the table, ad hoc queries against the content, and this table get created once, and then we cannot use this anymore. Since it's not get created within a BigQuery data set, it's going to be one time. So I'm going to show you different types of table, how we can create them in BigQuery. So let's go to BigQuery. So log into the Google Cloud Storage, go to the BigQuery. So in my case, it's a disk TCP. So go to your project, and then you can first you create a data set. So I'm going to create a baby data set, baby DS. And then the data location for this data set, I'm going to create US multi-region. And the remaining things I'm going to use default, and then say create data set. Now the baby data set is get created here. Next, I'm going to create this table, create table, empty table. I'm going to use cloud storage. So here inside the cloud storage, there's another tab. I have the baby names already downloaded and loaded into this location. Baby names inside my cloud storage. Let me copy this location here and come here. And here my data is located in the Google Cloud Storage, and give this location baby names slash, pick all the files there. And the format is going to be comma separated format. This has like 3 columns on this data set. And then here, data set is like the baby DS. Table name, I'm going to create a permanent native table. So for native table, I'm going to say baby names, native, baby names, native. And here, native table or external table, I'm going to create native table. Now, for the schema, since I don't have the schema, uh, this is a column separated file, my schema information is over here. Let me copy the schema information. This is the schema information. Let me come here. So there are three things in the schema. So first column is a name, and the second column is a gender, and the third column is like the count, how many number of times this name on that column. And let me go ahead and create the table. So now job created. Let me here it is. Yeah, it is created. So baby names native is created. So let me go to the same one and create an external table. Everything is same here. Instead of native, I'm going to say external permanent external permanent table. So instead of native table, I'm going to create external table and the same schema here I'm going to provide. So this is going to get, let me click the create table. The only difference is external table and the remaining things are all same. Now for temporary table, we cannot do it from here. I'm going to show you the temporary table next. Now, after the tables get created, this one is the permanent table. Let's go to the permanent table. When you click the permanent table inside the data set, there are, sorry, let's go, yeah, so in the permanent table, so there are two information coming here, schema and the details. If you see them, this is the external table. In the external, let me go to the native table first and then let's come back here. So on the native table, if you see, it has like four tabs there. One is the schema information, like name, gender, count we gave, the details. So here, if you see the details of the data, the table size is like 35, around 35 MB of data, which is managed by BigQuery. So that information is here. And number of rows, it is there. And the other information, since it's a native table, it's completely managed by BigQuery. So now if you go to the preview tab, we can see what's in there by using the preview tab. And the data explorer is another tab. Now, if you go to the external permanent table, the one we created like external table, if you see here, the difference between native table and the permanent external table, this is only two tabs here for this external table. The schema, that's a schema, and the details table. Now, if you see the details table, the tab, the table size is zero. Because the content for the external table is not managed by BigQuery. It is located outside. So here we have information about the external data, where this is coming from. So data is coming from this location, from the cloud storage location. So that information is going to be there. So other two tabs are not going to be there because the preview, we cannot preview the data for this external table. For the native table, if you go to native table here and you can preview the data, but for the external table, no, we cannot preview the data. So this is the difference between native table and external table. Now, on the native table, you have everything inside and you can see the data table size managed by BigQuery and the number of rows. We can see, preview the data. We can do that on the native table. External table, if you go there, we cannot preview the data. And another thing, the table size is zero, but the data is located in an external location. So this information will be there. So if you want to query this data, you can go here and say, this is the external table query. Same thing for the internal, for the native table also. I can run query here, select star. This is going to run the query. This is going to run a federated query against the cloud storage I have. So if you move here, so this is all the data which are coming from the external table. The same thing we can do on the native table also. It will work the same way. Now I'm going to show you uh, the how to do the temporary table, the one we talked about here. Temporary table is something we talked about here. We talked about native table before, talked about external table, that is a permanent external table, and then the temporary table. So permanent external table, if you see this two, the native table and the external table are get created inside the baby data set. Now, for the temporary table, we cannot do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the Cloud Shell, and it's already launched here. Let me move up here. I'm going to run this one, run this query over here. For this external table, let me run copy here, and then I'll show you what it is. So for the temporary table creation, the first one is the BQ query command. You can on the I'm using the command line console. I'm using the Cloud Shell console to do this. So here, if you see BQ query, you're seeing BigQuery command line tool and saying run the query. And here, external table definition is the baby names. This is a temporary table that we are creating. This table, baby names, which don't have any BigQuery dataset, which don't have any other like table names. It's only baby names as a temporary table. And this one, the name, gender, and the count, these are going to be schema information that we are telling, okay, this is my schema information. This is where my CSV file located, all my comma separated files. Now go run the query against this table, run a federated query against this content. So then when we does it, like, and here I'm running a query here, select name, comma, count from this baby names. And the baby names is something as a temporary table name. It's used here. The same one I'm referring. So when you run the job, it's going to run it and then create the run the query and give the output. So those are all about the different types of tables. And again, this is a temporary table since it's not get created within a data set. Now we cannot use uh, for other purposes. It's like one-time ad hoc query or one-time ETL purposes we can use them. Let me go back again. In BigQuery tables, there are two type of table: native table, external table. So native table is completely managed by BigQuery. Even the content, schema, everything is managed completely by BigQuery, and they run faster than other types of queries, other types of tables. And then the external table, two types: permanent table. The permanent table, when we create, it is the schema is managed by BigQuery, but the table content is managed, it's coming from external. It can be cloud storage or other location. And then the temporary table. And the temporary table is one-time ad hoc query, and then it can be used for an ETL purpose. So yeah, these are all the differences between BigQuery tables. And thank you.